Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTN Sports. We have a special show with you for you now. Very special show. Without further ado, I'll be bringing in our European correspondent. Welcome back to the show, Eugene. How you doing, brother?
Doing great, Ingram. How are you?
I'm good, brother. I'm good. And I have back in the room returning Coach Chris. Everybody loves Chris, don't they?
Everybody. Yeah, man. Hey, man. You know, hey, look, it's how it goes with boxing, man. Sometimes you get it wrong. You know, it's all good.
Okay.
At least
It's all good, brother. It's all good. Right. So Coach Chris says, okay, Eugene, fire us off with the great news from Ukraine.
All right. So, a video just came out on Alexander Zusyk's channel. For anyone that's interested to see it for themselves, it's USYK 17 on YouTube. And in the video, which is in Russian, but they have English subtitles, so it's not completely useless for people outside of Eastern Europe. They discuss a topic of Usyk not extending his contract with K2 Promotions, citing his disappointment with the representation he got from K2 recently.
Okay.
One of the issues that was brought up was the issue that Usyk didn't get the fight back in Ukraine since he became a champion. So if you remember, in order to get WBO championship belt, he had to go to Poland. After that, he branched off to get a few fights in the US. Then he joined the World Boxing Super Series, and supposedly there were options to make the fight happen in Kiev. However, his promoter or the representative, because the promotional company has quite a few big heads. It's Alexander Krasuk, who did not push for the fight in Kiev. Instead, he allowed the organizers of World Boxing Super Series to hold it in Germany. I believe it was in Berlin, even though economically they could still make it happen in Kiev. Because whilst in Germany they could only pack an arena, in Kiev that event would have filled in an entire stadium. So that's one of the topics that he has voiced his displeasure about. The second one was the fact that when he was fighting recently with Chisora, he did not know the size of the ring up until the moment that he walked into it, which, as he describes it, wasn't a big problem, but was quite an unpleasant factor, because the ring that he trains in is usually smaller, even that the one that he fought with Chisora. But still, there was a piece of information missing, and he had to move along as things unfolded. And the third issue that was brought up was the fact that his team, when they were reviewing the gloves that Chisora would be wearing on the night of the fight, voiced some concerns about lack of padding in them, when they were told that those boxing gloves being approved by the British Athletic Commission, and if they so desire, they can just take the similar pair and wear them themselves. which which wasn't great. On top of that, they weren't allowed to inspect them from the inside. I don't know what was the reason behind that. Maybe they had some COVID concerns. Maybe they didn't expand on that thing. But apparently, when inspecting the gloves, they can only observe or touch them from the outside. So, because of all those issues slowly accumulated in one snowball, USYK has decided that he's going to use the clause in his contract. The contract itself states that if within 3 years after signing the contract with K2, he wouldn't get a championship, a fight for the championship, the contract would be null and void. But since he got the fight with Glavatsky within, I believe, 2 years, it automatically extends to a set number of fights. But there is a clause that says that regardless of the number of fights, whether they're fulfilled or not, the contract cannot go on for longer than 7 years. And since he started boxing in November 2013 under K2, that contract is no longer active. So he was looking at the options where he could go with the contract and what he could do. Now, an interesting fact is that he does not seem to be concerned about, well, the fact that this issue with gloves in the ring all happened under Eddie Hearn. It seems that he is not cautious when thinking about signing with Eddie Hearn. So he still views it as a viable option for whatever reason, and just basically says that he's just looking for the person who's going to offer him the most, regardless of any. I don't know. It kind of flies in the face of him saying that first he's not being represented correctly, and now he's just looking for the higher bidder. So that is the issue of the contract. And then there is an issue with the fact that he's the mandatory for Joshua's WBO belt. And it would seem that after Pulev fight, they want to make fight of Joshua versus Fury, if at all. And he's saying that he won't let it go for WBO. Either Joshua faces him after Pulev, or he will have to vacate the belt. Again, flying in the face of the statement that he's only thinking about the higher bidder, because I would imagine that the step aside money would be considerable for the absolute unification, right? To get the undisputed champion in the heavyweight division. So now we have two conflicting messages about whether he's getting rid of his promoter because of the issues of not looking out for his best interest, or he's getting rid of them because he sees better economic opportunities on the other side. I'll let you take it from here.
Okay, I will get immediate reaction from Coach Chris, because he loves his, particularly when we talk about gloves at the moment. Coach Chris would love to have a first go at this, so I'll let Coach Chris have a go. See what he's got to say.
I mean, I told y'all so, man. Like, I mean, hey, that does not surprise me about those gloves one bit. Okay, it's just funny because Wilder's crazy, but now everybody's doing these double, triple inspections on the gloves now. You know what I'm saying? Now all of a sudden, Povetkin's trying on Dillian White's gloves, and O'Shaquie Foster just caught his team just caught Daniel Roman trying to sneak the funny gloves in. Now we're hearing Alexander Usyk's team, they caught them with the funny gloves that the commission said it was okay, even though there was no padding on it. And they said, well, hey, if you just want to, he's got the gloves with no padding, so you can just go ahead and fight with the gloves with no padding either. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. This is not sport. This is corruption and ridiculousness and bull plop, to be honest with you. And someone's going to get killed in a boxing ring. You know, I mean, we lose 3 guys last year to boxing. We don't know if they got into fights with guys with funny gloves. We already know from seeing previous fights, previous injuries, that rabbit punching to the back of the head with legit gloves can cause brain bleeds and hemorrhages and severe trauma. So, I mean, I know they're up against it, trying to compete against the UFC and mixed martial arts, but generating power for fighters and giving people unfair advantages is absolute foolishness, and it takes away from the sport. And it's just a shame. Like, I mean, I'm hearing them say it, and it's like, wow, I can't believe I heard it. But then on the other hand, it doesn't surprise me, because it seems like boxing's full of a bunch of scumbags, and it's a really filthy sport. You know, we love watching it, but at the end of the day, these are not good people in the sport. You know what I'm saying? And like, you know, they're going to interview Derek Chisora like, oh, he should just Wilder should just let it go. And then he's going to go out there and try to do the same thing Fury did with the skin gloves. So, you know, I don't know. Maybe it's outside of the U.S. thing because, you know, the Mexican guy came to America with the skin gloves and, you know, but we don't do the cheating over here in the United States, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. Those of y'all watching this might not be aware of it. Baltimore is a somewhat kind of a rough city. You know, it's one of those cities where if you can grow up and survive there, you probably can make it anywhere in the world, really. You know what I'm saying? And let me tell you something. You skin some gloves at an amateur fight in Baltimore, D.C., Oakland, Chicago, somebody getting shot. Like, we're not playing this, man. Like, what is this? You know, like, I'm going to tell y'all right now, I should grab a picture of my son. If my son's fighting amateur and some amateur coach tries to skin his fighter's gloves against my son, I'm going to the penitentiary like soon after that if I catch it, man. Like, someone's getting hurt. So I don't know if we got these cultural differences about, you know, acceptable levels of cheating and, oh, you got me, mate. Oh, you cheated, but you got me. You got one over on me. Like, no. See, in this country, in these United States, you cheat someone, you are playing with your life. It's serious. And I mean, boxing's already dangerous. Like, it's not like you cheat in football and like, oh, you took air out the ball, you got better grip, you gave yourself an advantage. Like, no, you're inflicting permanent damage on people with your hands, man. You can kill somebody with completely clear padded gloves. And then like, they're all just trying to compete with other people. Like, what if Wilder skinned his gloves? You know, instead of just sending Spilker to the hospital, he might have killed that man in the ring with no pad in his gloves, hit that man that hard in his face, man. Like, this is foolishness. And I'm telling you, they're gonna get to a point where it's gonna need government oversight and regulation. Like, that is absolutely ridiculous. And the fact that you can't, like, first of all, where's this rule you can't try on the other fighter's gloves? Like, what rule is that? I can't try on the gloves to make sure everything's on the up and up. Because it's obvious that the boxing world is full of just absolute scumbags. So, you know, you better check the gloves. You better check them twice. We need to glove up in the ring now, like the old days. Like, this is absolutely unbelievable. You know, the stuff about his contract with Usyk, you know, that's just the business of boxing, you know. I don't know how much of a market he has here in America. So he's probably got to stay with Eddie Hearn. But as far as those gloves go, man, like, that's just it's really bad to hear, man. Like, you just hear that and it's just like, come on, man. Like, that's ridiculous. Against somebody smaller than you. But I mean, hey, Fury's bigger than Wilder and he did the same thing. So just a shame, you know. And I mean, Usyk don't have to worry. He's going to get the AJ fight because Fury's going to lose to Wilder in the rematch. You know, he can't cheat. He's going to get destroyed. This isn't going to be close. So it is what it is. Like, he cheated in both fights. So Just need to get these guys out of boxing. You need to punish some people and make these get some real like punishments for all these drug abusers and glove cheats, and get them out of the sport so we can just get back to the sport we love. Because this is ridiculous. Like I don't know how anybody on either side of the pond can condone this. If it was American fighters doing this, I'd rip them even harder than I'm ripping these foreign guys, man. This is ridiculous. If you need to do that, you don't need to be doing this, bro. You need to do something else if you're that scared. And that's all I got to say about it. This is absolutely ridiculous. I had respect for Derek Chisora. The respect I did have for Derek Chisora just went out the window. I don't need to see him anymore. Take his old 11 losses and get the hell out of here. That's what I'm going to say. Get up out of here. We don't need to see you no more. I don't want to talk about him no more because he should be the last person to cheat because he's lucky to still be getting fights any damn way. Okay, with your 11 losses and lost to every damn body, and you out here cheating. You gonna cheat this dude who's undefeated and trying to move up. He's a cruiserweight, so you gonna load your gloves against a cruiserweight, right? You're a bum. You're a bum. Out my face. I don't want to talk about him anymore. He's irrelevant. You know what I mean? Just like once Wilder knocks Fury's head off of his shoulders, irrelevant. Get him out of here. Out of here. Get these cheaters out of my sport, man. Get them out of here. Get them out of here. That's all I got to say, man. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely insane.
The fun fact about
Eugene,
yeah.
what do you think?
Well, the reason here's the funny part though. What they told him, I mean the team, Usyk doesn't. Here's the interesting dynamic with Usyk. He usually surrounds himself with people who are looking out for him, and he just focuses on the training process, right? So what the answer was from those guys is like, oh, don't worry about it. Those are the same type of gloves that Mayweather uses. Which, if for anyone still not aware, Mayweather has problems with his hands, so his padding never has issues. He kind of he's in the market for some good gloves, and with that happening, and with the history that boxing has, a lot of people might be forgetting that boxing has quite a dark history of setup fights and of cheating and loading one side. Those rules for inspecting gloves and having the trainer present in the room when hands are being tapered, and writing letters on the tapering, so make sure that nobody retaped them. They exist for a reason, and usually those rules pop up as soon as somebody drops dead, right? If that's the reason why the rule is that the professional fights are only 12 rounds instead of 15. The rules why while gloves should be inspected, and so on and so on. There's why people are being tested for PEDs. All of that comes to preventing loss of human life or sustaining debilitating injuries. Because can you remind me what was the name of that guy, Luis Nero, who pulled out all this the padding from his gloves and permanently blinded his opponent to the point where the guy became a wreck and just committed suicide?
I don't know who that guy is. Maybe Coach Chris knows who that is. I don't know who
think
that guy is.
that fight
Who
was
you
in
talking about? Who did what now?
the guy who pulled out the padding out of his gloves. Was it in 80s?
Oh, you're talking about Louis Resto and Panama Lewis in the Billy Collins fight.
Right.
after the fight, he shook his hands, and there was like no padding in his gloves at all.
Correct. So we already have the precedent of that happening, and those rules are in place to prevent that. But now all of a sudden, those rules are being reverted, which I guess we're regressing.
I think we also need to just come to the grips with these commissions ain't about ish. You know what I'm saying? They're just there to collect a check. I mean, at the end of the day, these boxing matches that they're putting on, these sporting events that we are viewing, at the end of the day, at the basics of it, they're events, you know, like a big party, like a, you know, a wrestling match or something. So these commissions, they're there to just get a cut of the money, make sure nothing really outrageously crazy happens. They throw the gloves on a scale. They weigh 8 ounces, 10 ounces. Oh, yeah, fine, great, whatever. Doesn't matter what makes up the glove that makes it 8 ounces. I mean, apparently they're not trying on gloves, even though I know for a fact I've seen after Wilder fights, I've seen in New York, I've seen commission guys trying on his glove in the ring after he's knocked the absolute snot out of somebody. So I guess it just matters on who they're checking. I think we need to also just come to grips with the corruption in this sport is real. It's in your face. It's really corrupt. I mean, we see how the media, you know, present company obviously excluded with my man Ingram here, but we see how the media is bought and paid for. We've discussed that in the past. So we're not really, this isn't like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is what they do. So I think as boxing fans, as fans of the sport, and I'm not saying this as a fan of any particular boxer when I say this, if we're a fan of the sport, we need to stand up and protect it before we don't have it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what? Because they keep on coming out here skinning gloves. Someone's going to get seriously hurt. Someone's going to get killed. Someone's going to get caught. It's going to be international scandal. I mean, what if Fury would have killed Wilder in the ring? Which could have happened because he was bare knuckle boxing. So, like, he could have killed him in the ring. Then what? Then what? We're just going to say that a guy that couldn't punch 5 months prior all of a sudden just beat to death somebody. And, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what's going to happen here. That's the track that we're on. You know what I'm saying? Someone's going to lose their life with somebody with some shady gloves because someone wants to win that bad. And it's a shame. It really, really is, man. It's not shocking, but, you know, it's boxing, man. Just when you think they can't get any lower, they take you right to the curb. So it's just a shame, man. Like, I just want to see good fights. I want to see who the best is. Like, that's it. Like, I can't count these guys' money. You know, I'm gonna be fans of these guys, and you know, but I wouldn't want Wilder to cheat. I wouldn't want Errol Spence to cheat. I wouldn't want David Benavidez to cheat. You know, those are my 3 favorite fighters right now. I wouldn't want Gary Russell Jr. to cheat. If you got to cheat to win, you soft. Get out of here. You're obviously not good enough if you got to cheat. That's all. It's nothing wrong with it. You're not good enough. Make way for those that are.
I would say that the track record shows that people are quick to forget about cheating. If you can bring up the issue of Canelo popping pissing hot, and
Oh yeah,
that doesn't seem to be an issue anymore.
We don't forget. We also haven't forgotten about the WBC upping the clenbuterol limit, so he can cheat. You know, so it makes it easier for you to cheat. You know, they boxing needs an international organization. These sanctioning bodies are a joke. These state commissions are a joke. They all need to be. I don't know why. Like I'll tell you right now. In football, there's one football that all NFL teams use. In college football, there's one football all college football teams use. You just get a bunch of them for the games. You know, the official football, the Wilson football. It's called the Duke. That's the football they use, and they've been using it. That's what you do. I think they should just go with these Everlast gloves because apparently these other companies are just making these razzle-dazzle gloves out here, you know? And we're not here to see that. I'm not here to see people die in the ring. I'm not here to see people get brain damage in the ring, you know? I want to see good fights. I want to see who the best is. That's what it's about. It's just a shame, man. It's just a shame.
You know, for me, I was going to say that I don't understand why Alexander Usyk didn't know about the size of the ring, surely, as a professional fighter that Alexander Usyk is, he would know. You go to the ring the night before, the day before the fight, or day of the fight. You go and do some shadow boxing ring and like that. Look at the ring, examine the ring. Is that how unprofessional the setup at Alexander Usyk is? Is it just about money? Do they care about the fighter? I mean, it seems to me anyway that Usyk's fighting skills or his boxing skills are deteriorating anyway. I don't think he's improving. I don't think he's kicking on as a fighter. And if I've been making that analysis about his fighting, you can understand now why, if it's so unprofessional, that, you know, in terms of this, one can only begin to imagine what his training camps are like as well, because we're not getting the great performances that we expect of this man. Eugene, your thoughts?
Regarding that, it would seem to me the interviewer who was talking to Usyk brought up a thought to his attention. Like, haven't you noticed that everything seemed to be stacked against you when you went to Britain? Like, it would seem that you winning was not something they really wanted. On the opposite, they would benefit much more if you lost. Therefore, Joshua doesn't have to face you, and they have an in-house fighter in Chisora who, well, will take step-aside money and will be quite happy to step in next. It would seem to me that Usyk doesn't have the best advisory around him. Like, the people who are around him are more concerned about
themselves,
the pay cut, rather than his overall well-being. And it doesn't mean that his training team is like that. I'm talking about more managerial side of the things.
Klimas. We go back to Klimas again.
Right. You sound surprised, though.
Not really.
Yeah, the track record of that guy, I don't even know what to say. It's thing after thing. And wouldn't you know, Usyk said that around round 6 and 7, he started feeling his injury. Remember, he pulled out of a Takam fight on elbow injury.
Yeah.
And he started feeling in the ring that it's coming back. He's getting hurt again. Which means that I had a thought recently that all these guys like Usyk and Lomachenko with extensive amateur careers,
body's breaking down on them.
Well, yeah, it seems that they have so much wear and tear on them that, you know, the head gasket is about to blow.
I said that.
And it happened with Lomachenko, who went into the fight injured and didn't have the rematch clause, so he's now sitting on the side of the road, practically begging for a rematch. That's just pure hubris, in my opinion, to go into a fight of your career to become an undisputed
and have no rematch clause,
and not have the rematch clause because, well, and plus you're fighting injured. That was just pure stupidity. You can distill that thing and inject people to permanently cripple them.
Has Igor's Klimas got anything to do with that?
Let's see. Does Igor's Klimas manage
Lomachenko?
Yeah, I think it does.
I don't like that guy. I don't like that guy. The other guy is everything. When you talk about boxing, he's one of those guys that just everything bad around him in boxing. You know, how can you turn around and it wasn't Usyk that turned around and told Uncle Bashir that he's learned all he needs to learn. We'll take it from here. That sounds like Klimas. That sounds like Klimas, and it sounds like Klimas has got involved again with this promotional situation with K2. I think Usyk's got his own promotional company. That's the route he wants to go down with his promotion money and keep the money in house if possible. Coach Chris?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, man, I got to jump, man. Gotta get this session in with these kids, man. But appreciate you having me on, Eugene. It was dope meeting you, brother. Thanks for the intel there, my man. And hey, everybody out there, we'll
Don't
see
forget
y'all,
to
man.
download the app.
Oh, I
What's it
already
like?
got the app, bro. Yo, it's cool, man. Like, check this out. So it works just like can you see?
Go on, Coach Chris.
Yeah, man, I'm in there, man. Hey, man, teamwork makes the dream
I
work,
like it,
baby.
son.
Hey, man, but the app works really well. You can check out the videos on there. It's all good.
Good stuff, Coach Chris. Good
Hey,
stuff.
I appreciate y'all. Y'all take care. Have a great night. All right.
Take care, Coach
Yep.
Chris. All the
All
best.
right.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye-bye. So, Eugene, we can continue our conversation. Shout out to Coach Chris, by the way.
Absolutely. So here's a point that I wanted to say. You know who would notice the pattern being missing out of Chisora's gloves and would bring up quite a fuss about it?
Who?
If Bashir was still in Usyk's corner, that fight would never happen, or those gloves would be thrown right out the window.
Interesting. So, does that mean that he can't trade his? Does that mean that Usyk can't trust his team? Is that what we're looking at there?
Partially, I would say yes, because they didn't fight the. You can ask Bashir about that. If he noticed the pattern from gloves being missing, ask him what he would do, and then try to picture it when the fight is when they're trying to make a fight happen. All of a sudden, this Bashir guy shows up and messes everything up, right?
It's not good, is
Because
it?
yeah, well, it's not good for whom though, because for the guys like Klimas or whoever else, all they care is getting their pay cut. It's not a big deal if Usyk loses. It's not them who will have to deal with the consequences.
It's
But
not
if
good.
we're talking about advancing someone's skill and career to their absolute um, ultimate shape, then that's absolutely unacceptable. But this is why I think Bashir being out of the picture is such a convenient thing, because he would notice those things way ahead and he would voice concerns about it. That's why he was like a canary in the coal mine.
So Usyk's boxing skills have regressed since he's left Bashir. I've not seen improvements. His fights
Right.
have not been. Fights have not been impressive. Right. He's put on workmanlike performances. Is that good enough to fight someone like Joe Joyce?
I don't have the confidence to say yes. I think we're just in anticipation of some major disaster happening. And I don't mean him just losing. I think
him getting
he will get
spectacularly
hurt
knocked out
badly.
badly. You can see it coming, can't you?
Yeah. It's a sad thing to see, really, because we could see the track record of his rise, and that was quite promising because the current narrative around boxing is all about size or power, and every commentator is always fixated on the size of people, and it for anyone who is really interested in boxing, it always comes down to skill. But at the end of the day, we don't really get our way to prove them wrong, do we? When the people who should be the most interested in proving them wrong aren't doing the correct things to do so.
That's interesting. But
So
it makes you think. To me, you're being set up to lose. You're not being set up. You're not being put in position to win. You're being set up to lose. I mean, you tell me how. I hope my sound is my sound. Can you hear me clearly?
I hear some weird distortion, like you're talking into a fan.
That's odd. You should be doing that. Very odd. Can you still hear? Is that you still got that problem or not?
Yeah.
Is it still there?
Right.
How about this? Is this any better?
Nope.
It's odd.
Let me check if it's on my end though, because we might be solving a non-issue.
Okay. Mic check. Mic should be okay. Check and see there. Mic check. Is that good? Unplug your device. Yeah, we'll talk that. We'll try that for now. I'm going to go back to the microphone afterwards. But can you hear me now? Am I any better? Cameron, am I any better?
It doesn't sound better, but maybe people in the room can help us out.
Yeah. Then put.
Anyways, let's just keep going, because I can still make out what you're saying.
Okay. So let's try this. Put this on here. It's worse. Huh? It's odd. Very weird. Let's see. Skill. Okay, let me just check my mic a second while my mic will be doing that. Let's see. Audio. Microphone. Odd. Just we can hear what you say. It's just static. Okay, fine. So what is most concerning here is let me put myself in a position as a fighter. Okay, my management and my team are meant to be looking out for me to make sure that I get the best deal as a fighter, and to make sure that my trainer is to make sure that I am protected. You know, so I should be able to go and see the ring. I mean, I was with Carson Jones. He came to the UK to fight Ted Cheeseman, and we went to the O2 Arena, and he went to the O2 Arena the night before the fight, and he could see the arena and see where he was going to be boxing and could see the ring, right? But Main Severe, when he fought Joe Joyce, again, be able to see the arena, not too far from the arena, go to the arena, see the ring. How can you not know the sides of the ring until fight night? That sounds totally inept and unprofessional, or that's setting you up to lose. You know, I mean, you think about, and I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist here, but you look at Luis Ortiz. When Luis Ortiz came to the UK to fight, well, we thought when he joined with Matchroom, the deal he had there, he ended up fighting Brian Jennings, not Brian Jennings. He ended up fighting Dave Allen and Malik Scott. And to me, that looked like that Matchroom were trying to keep Luis Ortiz away from AJ. Now we've got this Alexander Usyk coming over and fighting. He fought Tony Bellew, right? Now he's going and fighting Chaz Witherspoon, and now he's got this Chisora fight. And you think to yourself, is there any plans in place there to ensure that Usyk doesn't get to Joshua? And the ways of doing that are by doing things like the gloves, not being him to see what ring he's boxing in and stuff like. It doesn't sound to me like a team that want to see this guy become champion. The agenda seems like, yeah, we're going to look as if we're going to do you some good, but our real agenda is to make sure that we all get paid well and look after ourselves. That's what it seems like. I could be completely wrong when I'm saying that, though.
Well, if you're not forgetting, Usyk has been co-promoted by Eddie Hearn.
Yes.
Right. So that was the first concerning issue. That before that he was only in the hands of K2, and there would practically be no reason for K2 to screw him over like that. But now that the worst thing that could happen from them is incompetence. But now that he's been co-promoted and he looks out for options with whom to sign, which if it's not K2, I wouldn't imagine that there would be a higher bidder than Eddie Hearn, simply because by keeping Usyk out of the loop, from keeping him away from Joshua, he can make whatever money fights he wants. Usyk is no longer that unwelcome party member. He's the guy to easily keep at a distance.
Yeah, but okay. You tell me, although Usyk's been successful winning the Muhammad Ali Trophy, has his stock risen as a fighter?
I would say the recognition overall. As a fighter, he is somewhat a commodity. However, he is not enough of a phenom to put your stock in. You see, with having someone like Usyk on your hands, you can only push him so much and get people excited about him for so much. You know, he does not carry the, I would say, the money aspect with him.
All right, you name me how many fighters have gone to that promotional team, whether it be Usyk, Herkovich, Danny Jacobs, Golovkin, you name them all. How many of them stock has risen? And how many of this have just stayed the same regardless if they're signed or not? Because it seems to me that no matter who they... Look at Billy Joe Saunders. You would have thought after he won that fight with Lemieux, he would have kicked on. Terrible. It's dreadful. Now he's fighting against Martin Murray. I mean, value. And I asked myself the question, like you look at Tyson Fury when he's over here in the UK, right? And then he goes to America, he's on ESPN. And surely an accomplished fighter like Usyk, should be getting exposure and like how Tyson Fury is getting it. My point is, I just wonder if it's all a facade that by signing with this particular company or this particular organization, they're actually doing the best for his career monetarily. Because I can't imagine Usyk in England being a big ticket seller. I can't imagine the US him being a big ticket seller. I can't imagine him filling out an arena by himself in America or in the UK. He could probably do it in Ukraine because he's worshipped like a god in the Ukraine.
Yeah,
and surely,
to think of it, he never left. Well, physically he did, but as a draw, he never left Eastern Europe.
That's what I'm saying. Isn't surely part of joining this promotional band is for him to grow? I mean, say what you want about the Klitschko's and say they were boring, but they had a brand, right?
Right.
They had a real big brand. They had a big brand. I mean, and Lomachenko, yes, he's a skilled fighter, but the promotion for Lomachenko got almost sickening at times. There's just nobody in the world of boxing that boxes like Lomachenko. Nobody takes a fart like Lomachenko. Nobody goes to the toilet at Lomachenko. Nobody walks like Lomachenko. Nobody smiles at Lomachenko. So Lomachenko's the greatest fighter of this era. That sort of stuff.
Yeah, but that still didn't materialize in pay-per-view numbers.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't.
So at the end of the day, was it all for nothing?
You wonder now. Usyk saying he wants to get the biggest deal. But surely the biggest deal has to go hand in hand with being well promoted. And the reason why he's not being well promoted is even being well managed. But he wants to get the best deal.
Well, the way I see it, and this will be that's the most logical thing that I see, is that Usyk will be offered an offer to sign with Eddie Hearn that he cannot refuse, and that will be the end of it, because he will start circling the drain, and Eddie Hearn has a green light to basically materialize any fights he wants with Joshua without having to worry with Usyk. And seeing that Usyk's body is not getting younger and his skill set is not expanding, eventually he will become comfortable enough opposition, meaning not presenting much threat, that they'll be ready to throw him against Joshua or whoever they need to. And essentially, he will end up as a matchroom journeyman.
But, you know, the longer it takes for him to get to that world title fight, the worse it is for him.
Absolutely.
It's not good for him. It's not good.
No, it's not.
You see, you look at Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce hasn't been undisputed cruiserweight champion of the world. They both fought one another. Yes, Usyk's been the more accomplished in terms of what he's done as a cruiserweight and then moving to the heavyweight division. But you look at what Joyce has just done, coming for that big fight against Dubois. People are talking about Joe Joyce. People are talking about Usyk, but when they talk about Usyk, they're saying, oh my gosh, he didn't look that great against Derek Chisora. That surely is not good for promotion.
Yeah. It would be quite a guess turn of events if Joe Joyce at the end will be a more accomplished heavyweight than Usyk, but I can see that happening.
Mm-hmm. But we're calling this and we're saying it now that Usyk's got some serious problems in his camp. People say if Usyk were to get sensationally knocked out now, you think to yourself, that it's a great shock. It's not a shock because you can see the wheels are coming off the bus.
Speaking of, did you know what he said? In round 2 or 3, he got hit below the belt, I believe.
Yeah.
And he said that he wanted to attract attention to that issue. So when he straightened up, he got checked on the jaw, and he said he was out on his legs. Said he had a moment where he just lights went out and then on. So he got buzzed in that ring. He already got rocked to the point where he had that on and off moment with Chisora.
Why would you say that?
I guess because he doesn't seem an issue to bring that up, but that is alarming.
You don't say things like that. Even if you got buzzed like you don't say things like that. You're getting buzzed by Derek Chisora. That's not a good sign if you think about him fighting likes of Deontay Wilder, Joe Joyce. I mean, big punches, that go out and knock people out. That's not good. That's not good. Right, we're going to wrap this up quickly. Let's hear what people are saying here. Joshua, provided he come through Pulev, should do everything possible to get the Fury fight. Yep, that's fair enough, John. Fake champions don't count. Do it properly. Stop this microwave era crap. Yep, that's it. Right, Eugene, thank you so much as always for your insight. Always appreciate you, and we look forward to having you again on the channel soon.
Absolutely, it's been my pleasure, and you take it easy.
Thank you very much. Thank you all so much for watching BWTM Sports Gaming. Don't forget to download the app. It's all available to you free on Google App Store. Get across, download it so you can get to see all the previous videos and all the latest news, not just in boxing, but other stuff around the world as well. That's not just available on the sports channel. And also check out our online store. Get yourself a BWTM jumper. Rock yourself with a BWTM face mask if you're wearing face mask, going to the shop and all the rest of it. Right, I am out of here. Thank you once again to Eugene. Thank you once again to Coach Chris. And thank you to you all for watching BWTN Sports. We're out.